Welcome to round 2 of competition in the new PBA League. 8 5-man teams featuring the world's best bowlers, with each team owned by some of the biggest names in sports and entertainment. In round 1, the Brooklyn Styles, owned by actor Jesse Williams, went to the top of the league standings with a victory over tennis legend Billie Jean King's New York City WTT KingPins. Those two teams are back today here in Detroit's Thunderbowl lanes, along with Chris Paul's LAX, Terrell Owens' Dallas Strikers, Kevin Hart's Philadelphia Hitmen, Jerome Bettis' Motown Muscle, Chris Hardwick's Silver Lake Adams Splitters, and Lamar Woodley's Pittsburgh Jackrabbits. It's team versus team competition with the goal of getting to Indianapolis and capturing the season-ending Elias Cup. Welcome to historic Thunderbowl lanes in Allen Park, Michigan, where the fans are anxious for the start of today's PBA League action. I'm Lon McCarron with Randy Peterson. 3 PBA League teams have already earned spots on today's TV show. The 4th rung of the stepladder still up for grabs, so our first order of business is to have bowlers from the other 5 teams compete in the PBA League Clash. The last bowler standing from that clash earns their club the 4th seed in the team event, an exciting Baker format competition with 5 players per team. We'll then bring you the singles final of the Carmen Salvino Classic with 2 very motivated bowlers, Randy.
Well, that's right, Lon. Our singles matchup is featuring DJ Archer and Andres Gomez. Now, DJ is looking for his first ever career title, and his only television appearance came way back in 2004. He's taking on an international superstar in Andres Gomez. And oh, by the way, Andres just happens to be the defending champion of this tournament.
All right, we take a look at the PBA League Carmen Salvino Classic step ladder. 3 teams have already qualified. 1 more team still to qualify in the clash. Here's the lineup for the clash. It is weighted towards the teams who finished higher through the qualifying games. 4th place qualifier puts 4 bowlers in the clash. 5th place gets 3, and so on. The 3rd member of our broadcast team here at Thunderbowl is a PBA member who tried hard but came up short this week in his qualifying attempts, JT Action Jackson, who is with one of the legends of bowling, a founding member of the PBA, the one, the only, Carmen Salvino. Action.
Thanks, guys. Carmen, so we have the PBA League here, something that you're very familiar with. How do you feel about that?
I think it's great because I bowled in the National Bowling League. I bowled in league tournaments. This is fantastic. We're back to where bowling belongs, and I'm really happy to see that.
Now, how does it feel to have a tournament named after you and throwing the first ball? How does that feel?
Since we're having a little fun, I got to say that's good taste.
I think so too, Carmen.
No, honestly, it's an honor. I have a lot of fun with the PBA. They know I'm a little crazy, so it's okay.
Well, there you have it. That's Carmen Salvino.
All right. That is Carmen Salvino in a nutshell. Let's take a look at the clash rules. 11 players to win 1 shot in round 1. The lowest pinfall eliminated, along with those who tie for that low pinfall. They'll continue until 1 bowler remains, and that bowler will earn his team the 4th seed in the step ladder finals. Randy, this should be a fireworks-filled open to our show here.
Well, one thing's for sure, we're going to see a lot of superstars and some of the PBA greats in this clash.
Parker Bone III from LAX, who qualified with 4 players to lead us off in the clash and set the tone. Parker Bone coming off his world championship at the World Series of Bowling. First ball of this clash. Well, he leaves something to be desired.
That'll have to do.
Here's how our teams stand coming into today's competition. The Jesse Williams-owned Brooklyn Styles on top with 18 points after winning the first round of PBA League competition. Then Billie Jean King's New York City WTT KingPins with 12, followed by Jerome Bettis' Motown Muscle and Terrell Owens' Dallas Strikers. 3 more rounds to go, and then the top 4 teams will head to April's PBA League finals in Indianapolis and a chance to capture the Elias Cup.
Remember the low count and ties are out.
Bones' teammate Wes Malott. 9 is the number.
It's a huge advantage when you can put 4 players from your team onto the floor for this competition.
Big strike for Wes Malott. He does strike a lot. Terrell Owens in the house, the Dallas Strikers owner. Terrell on hand along with franchise player Norm Duke for last week's Chris Paul All-Stars and showing some pretty darn good form. There's a strike. And as you can see, Terrell no slouch on the lanes, doing himself and his partner Norm proud at the event. Terrell showing his support today for Rhino Page, the lone Dallas striker in this clash. Walter Ray Williams Jr. now. From the Brooklyn Styles. Styles have a couple of bowlers in there. Walter with 9. So the key is if everyone else strikes, it's Williams and Bone out. Dom Barrett from the Silver Lake Adams Splitters. 7th draft pick overall. 1 PBA win came last season. His franchise player on the team is Chris Barnes, who is in this clash as well.
Oh, we see back-to-back shots from Walter Ray and Dom Barrett that both hit the pocket. Walter Ray goes solid 9, Dom Barrett blower 7. Right now 9 is on the low side. As you can see the beautiful form of Dom Barrett from England, just throwing pins in front of the 7.
Now Andres Gomez also will be in the singles final later on in our show today. Gomez with the LAX.
Oh boy.
That's trouble.
And the guys that got 9 are now safe, and they're breathing a sigh of relief as Andres just throws one wide right, flagging the head pin. Take a look at this. Boy, this ball scoots right in a hurry, and that has no chance of getting back to the head pin.
Now also from LAX, the franchise player, Jason Belmonte. 5 tour titles. He has made such a huge impression on the PBA Tour. That's good for Jason.
Not so sure your 6 will hold up.
Once again, this is the PBA League Clash for the Carmen Salvino Classic. Each player throws 1 ball. Low pinfall is eliminated. The last man standing and his team will advance to today's PBA League stepladder. Now the current Player of the Year, Sean Rash from the Brooklyn Styles. Rash looking for 7. Can you get it?
Good enough.
He'll take it. That's good enough. Sean Rash safe through the first frame.
Andres Gomez is looking for help. I don't think it's at all possible on this oil pattern that's been very high scoring throughout the week. I don't see how it's possible for any player to get less than 6.
Chris Barnes now, franchise player for the Silver Lake Adams Splitters. From Double Oak, Texas. Oh, he doesn't like it, but a grunt and a strike from Barnes.
Well, he's been sitting on the bench for a while, and Chris, no spring chicken anymore at 42 years of age. I think that one might have thrown his back out.
Somebody maybe put a heavier ball in there. That's what it sounded like. All right, Dan McClellan, the only player from the Pittsburgh Jackrabbits.
Good enough. Now Rhino Page is stepping up to throw his shot. He's been sitting next to Terrell Owens, and I guarantee I know what advice Terrell has given Rhino Page.
What's that?
Rhino, this time, I want you to knock all the pins down. Just do it, son.
That's what the team owner's for. Bring the motivation. Rhino Page actually the first pick in the PBA League draft. Terrell looking on. Yeah, he got the kick for the strike. Page is safe. Now just Stu Williams, the only one who can save Andres Gomez right now.
It's like sitting next to Jerry Jones, man. You want to keep the team owner happy.
From the Silver Lake Adams Splitters, Stu Williams. Williams from Cheshire, England. Oh, 7 is good enough.
Well, that was really interesting. I think he was trying to throw it straight and hard at the headpin, and he whips the headpin and gets 7.
Andres Gomez heads to the sidelines, and although he's been eliminated, there are still 3 LAX team members among the remaining 10 players, and all are trying to get their team into today's stepladder finals here at the Carmen Salvino Classic. This clash continues in a moment. The PBA League Carmen Salvino Classic is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. The USBC, enhancing the bowling experience for millions of bowlers. To learn more, visit us on bowl.com. Roto Grip, defying them all with performance and value made simple. And by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side. Welcome back to Detroit and the Carmen Salvino Classic, featuring the second round of competition from the brand new PBA League. While we were gone, today's clash continued. 10 remaining players trying to get their team into today's stepladder finals. Parker Bone III leading off the second round, throwing a 7, a number that would not hold up, and Parker, like LAX teammate Andres Gomez, was eliminated. In round 3, 2 competitors were eliminated. Dom Barrett of the Silver Lake Adams Splitters and Jason Belmonte from the LAX. 9, not a good enough number, as the 6 other competitors all struck, so Barrett and Belmo were sent packing. And incredibly, only 1 LAX team member was left in the next round, but Wes Malott 6 meant he and the team who started this competition with a quartet of players were done. In round 5, Walter Ray Williams Jr. would knock down a perfectly respectable 9, but a slew of strikes from his 5 remaining competitors meant that it would have to be up to Sean Rash to try and advance the Brooklyn Styles into the stepladder. So here are the remaining 5 clash competitors as we begin round 6. Rash, Barnes, McClellan, Page, and Williams. Remember, each throws just 1 shot, and the team representative with the lowest pinfall is eliminated. Rash with his 4th in a row. So we open up round number 6.
And we're getting down to that strike or go home with only a couple of players left.
2 from Silver Lake, 1 from Brooklyn, 1 from Pittsburgh, 1 from Dallas remaining. There is the franchise player for Silver Lake, Chris Barnes. Nothing but strikes for Barnes.
Nothing but heat.
And here comes some more. Good enough.
That's 16 pounds of bad intentions coming at the 1-3 there. Barnes perfect. He thought that was going to be a little high. Next time, if he does get back to that right lane, he might move like a half a board or a board left. Enough ball speed on that shot to keep it online and drive all 10 in the pit. Bowling ball almost looked like it took the 7 out.
Barnes looking a little lucky to get that strike. McClellan also has been perfect for his Pittsburgh Jackrabbits. Boy, I don't think he could miss if he tried.
2 players playing very similar lines.
3 strikes in a row. That puts the heat now on Rhino Page, and that's what this clash is all about. Putting heat on your opponents. Page has been perfect to this point.
Sir.
Sure, yeah, he got it. Rhino Page showing well for the Dallas Strikers. Amleto Monticelli and Brian Smith, a couple of his teammates, love to see that, as does team owner Terrell Owens. So now Williams needs to strike to stay alive.
Yeah, he's kind of gotten through unnoticed, under the radar, so to speak, just throwing enough to get by, although he did throw 2 big strikes on the left lane to knock guys out.
Williams needs to get them all, and he got them.
Great shot there by Stewie to stay in it.
So this round started with 5. We remain with 5. Moving on to round 7 now. Sean Rash, the leadoff hitter. You see the remaining players saying, don't strike, don't strike. Ooh.
Ooh. Flat 10. You heard Sean, he didn't like that one. That ball hit like it needed CPR after it got done. 6-pin going to the side. Kind of just laying there in the gutter. Watch this. Everything looks pretty good there. The 6-pin just goes to the sidewall and runs out of gas.
That brings Chris Barnes back up. And Barnes, a member of the winning team at last week's Chris Paul PBA League All-Stars, partnered with Silver Lake Adams Splitters owner Chris Hardwick, whose heckling of Pittsburgh Steeler Lamar Woodley nearly got him eliminated, not just from the competition, but from life itself. Hardwick would recover enough, and in a strike-filled final, he and Barnes ended up defeating Kevin Hart and Bill O'Neill 270 to 267. Only strikes for Barnes so far today. Can Barnes remain perfect in the clash? Yes, he can.
Boy, he's thrown it so hard, he's literally coming out of his shoes when he gets to the foul line. Just a lot of momentum and speed behind that shot. Watch this. This guy's pretty good at posting up shots, but a lot of speed and momentum behind that one.
Nor has this man, Dan McClellan. Sean Rash, the man on the bubble. McClellan, stand corrected, with a 9 in the first and a 9 here. So McClellan and Rash now with 9s. 2 men on the bubble. Rhino Page has been perfect. Page needs to be perfect here to guarantee himself another round. With team owner Terrell Owens looking on, Rhino got the kick.
Back on Stuart Williams now. As you take a look at Rhino Page's bowling ball driving that 7-pin out. One of the greatest wide receivers in history sitting in his camp. Boy, that doesn't stink, does it?
Bringing success to his PBA League team here. He knows the winning attitude. Stuart Williams now from the Silver Lake Adams Splitters. He is the man of the moment. A strike will eliminate McClellan and Rash. And the rest of the field would love that. Williams, is it going to come back and get him?
Oh my.
So that means 3 players are out. Williams, with that 9 count, will walk off along with McClellan and Rash.
And then there were 2. Great shot here, but the angle creates that ringing 10. Stewie liked it the whole way, but pins didn't cooperate.
Well, that rule about low count and ties has played big here in the clash. And I think that adds a little extra pressure to the players. I like it.
Well, it's a little 2-on-1 right now. One of the greatest receivers in football sitting next to Rhino Page. Barnes is on the bench by himself.
The winning player will be with his team in the PBA League stepladder. They'll go on to the 4th rung of the stepladder. First blemish on Barnes' scorecard here. Opens the door for Rhino Page to move his Dallas Strikers into the league stepladder.
Well, you kind of saw this coming. Remember the last shot on that right lane. Chris drifted just a pinch high, but he was lucky to strike. This time not so fortunate. Just high enough to leave a solid 4. Now Rhino Page, 1 strike. And the Dallas Strikers are moving on.
The Dallas Strikers put 1 man only, Rhino Page, into this PBA League clash. They qualified last after the 8 games of qualifying. The lowest qualifying team can move through if Page can get the strike, and he does. So the Dallas Strikers win this PBA League clash, and they will be on the 4th rung of the stepladder. Norm Duke, the franchise player, is thrilled.
You think Norm knew something when he chose Rhino Page as the #1 overall pick in the draft?
It certainly looks that way. Duke's faith, as well as that of owner Terrell Owens, rewarded here by Rhino Page. So the Dallas Strikers advance to the stepladder, where they will face Pete Weber and Billie Jean King's New York City WTT Kingpins next. Welcome back. Rhino Page, the only member of the Dallas Strikers in that PBA League clash, goes 8 for 8, earning his team a place on the stepladder finals. Right now, JT Action Jackson is with Strikers owner Terrell Owens.
Thanks, guys. So, Terrell, what do you think of Rhino's performance?
Oh, I mean, the performance spoke for itself. I mean, he had to strike out to win.
It was a good pick, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's playing like the #1 pick as we drafted him. And so right now, I mean, it was down to with him and Chris Barnes. And again, you know, he bowled very, very well.
All right, thanks, Terrell.
Okay, the PBA League clash complete. Here is the full stepladder. Dallas Strikers will now be taking on Billie Jean King's New York City WTT Kingpins in our first match. So 3 teams jousting to meet the top-seeded Philadelphia Hitmen. And Randy, when you had a first look at all of the PBA League teams, it was this Philadelphia team that really jumped out at you.
Yeah, myself, and I think if you ask every player in this competition, they'd all say the same as well. On paper, the Philadelphia Hitmen from top to bottom look like the team to beat, especially when you look at such bona fide superstars as Bill O'Neill and Mika Koivuniemi. From top to bottom, just solid. But I think one of the most intriguing teams in this competition is the Motown Muscle. And the reason why is because the way franchise player Mike Fagan drafted his team. He drafted players that had success in this building. Not superstars, but guys that got it done here at Thunderbowl. I think, just maybe, they may have enough mojo to take down the Hitmen from Philadelphia.
All right, Motown Mojo is what they need. We're ready to get this first match underway. Let's take a look at the rosters of the 2 teams. Dallas Strikers lineup will lead off with Brian Smith in the 1 hole. Franchise player Norm Duke, followed by Amleto Monticelli, Mike Machuga, Rhino Page, the anchorman for that team. For the New York City WTT Kingpins, John Zerbinski, a very underrated player. You look out for him. We'll lead it off. Jack Jurek, followed by Tommy Jones, Pete Weber, and Scott Norton.
The Dallas Strikers versus the New York City WTT Kingpins. Leading off for the Kingpins, John Zerbinski.
Zerbinski from North Tonawanda, New York, 24 years old, a grad of Wichita State. Chris Barnes is his bowling hero, also from Wichita State. This was a surprise pick for Pete Weber, even himself. Tommy Jones recommended Zerbinski, and he has proven himself to be a very strong bowler this week, and somehow manages the strike.
Not bad for John's first shot ever on television. I've watched that young man grow up. Watched him when he was a junior bowler. Boy, he's come a long way.
21 years on tour for Brian Smith. From Roseburg, Oregon, won PBA title, the 03 USBC Masters. And Smith matches Zerbinski strike for strike.
Yeah, no big surprise there. That guy's won a major championship out here on this tour. Brian Smith winning the Masters title.
So that brings up Jack Jurek for the New York City WTT Kingpins, owned by Billie Jean King. 2 titles. First frame, a strike for each team. The winner of this match moves on to face the Motown Muscle. Jurek finds his way to the strike zone.
How about Jackie Jurek? He went so long in between wins, and then he finally won his 2nd career title right here in this building.
Here's what they're competing for today. 12 points to the winner, 8 to second, and down the line. The top 4 teams after 5 rounds of competition will make their way to Indianapolis in April to try and be the team that brings home the Elias Cup. Franchise player Norm Duke. He loves to hear that still after all these years, but he doesn't like to see that leave.
And it's interesting that Norm Duke is bowling in the 3-hole and not the anchor position for this team. Reason being, he doesn't have a very good look on this oil pattern. And we all saw what Rhino Page did in the clash portion of this event.
I don't like that ball. I don't like that ball, do you?
Duke just said he didn't like that ball, so look for a ball change the next time he's up.
Tommy Jones now for the Kingpins, 34-year-old TJ, PBA Rookie of the Year, PBA Player of the Year past, 14 wins. Pete Weber leaned on him heavily during the draft. Is that going to come back enough? It does not.
And one of the toughest aspects of team bowling in a Baker format is the amount of time in between shots, and these players only get 2 shots with the exception of the anchor bowler who will finish the 10th frame. It's hard sitting on the bench. These players are used to throwing shot after shot and bowling a lot.
A number of these guys do have team bowling in their background. Of course, they went to college or university, wherever they're from. Team bowling there. Jones cleans up.
Come on, pick me up. My bad. Pick me up. Pick me up.
Amleto Monticelli now for the Dallas Strikers. Strikers down 9 early. Little high. Oh, wow. He's not on the Brooklyn team, right?
Hey, look, he's 51 years old. He's a Hall of Famer. He's got 19 wins. If he was on my team and he did that, I would say, you know what, Amleto? Don't worry about it.
All right, PDW, Pete Weber, franchise player for Billie Jean King's team. 36 PBA titles, 9 majors.
And Lon, again, like Norm Duke's team, the Dallas Strikers, you see that Pete Weber is not the anchor bowler for this team. It's going to be Scott Norton. And the reason is because in this competition during qualifying, Scott Norton averaged 242, by far the highest average of anybody on his team.
Norton is loving the lanes here in Allen Park, and a little 1-foot dance to avoid the foul for PDW against the spare.
I tell you what, for a 50-year-old, he's showing a lot of agility.
Boy, he keeps himself in shape. You know that. Mike Machuga. Chugs, 36 years old from Erie, Pennsylvania. Chugs, the 4th round draft pick of Norm Duke, 31st overall. Looking at that approach, these approaches are different from the main bay where they've been qualifying all week long.
Take a look at Mike Machuga as he kind of sticks a little bit. You see that heel kind of digging, even though his balance is perfect. But again, another ball on the right lane that goes almost Brooklyn. You know, we saw a lot of that in the clash portion of this event where that right lane definitely blew out and blew apart, and ball started to hook a lot on that lane.
Natural wood approach here, synthetic in the main bay of lanes here at Thunderbowl.
Machuga also a big average throughout this competition, himself also averaging 242.
And now our first look at Scott Norton in this show, who has been very, very hot on the lanes here in Allen Park, and he is the anchor man. Neither one of the franchise players, as you mentioned, the anchor player, but you got to go with a hot hand, and Norton certainly has had it. And there he shows why.
Interesting, the two lefties anchoring these two teams as Scotty the Hottie steps up and throws 10 in the pit.
Rhino Page going 8 for 8 in the PBA League clash that you saw.
Oh, God.
No, he doesn't like this one, though. And you can see why.
4, 6, 7, 10. Split the big four.
So the anchor man with the big four.
And another player sticking on this right lane. Actually, that looked like he slipped. Pulling it right through the nose, leaving the big four. This split only made once in the history of television or bowling on television.
I got 2.
So 2 out of 4, an open frame for the Dallas Strikers. And New York City WTT Kingpins up halfway through this match. Come on back to Allen Park. More exciting action. This is the PBA League.
Come on, guys, let's go.
Hi, I'm Billie Jean King, owner of the New York City WTT Kingpins. Welcome back to the inaugural PBA League season on ESPN.
Great to have Billie Jean King as one of the PBA League owners. Of course, she brings some amazing credentials to the mix. One of the co-founders of the WTT, the World Team Tennis League, 39 Grand Slam tennis titles. She founded the Women's Tennis Association. Of course, that was fun in '73, defeating Bobby Riggs at the Astrodome. And she's the 2009 recipient of the Presidential Medal of Freedom. What a boost to have Billie Jean King as one of the owners of the PBA League. The first match today, the New York City WTT Kingpins up by 24 over the Dallas Strikers, who just had an open frame from their anchorman, Rhino Page.
And the teams have now flip-flopped and changed lanes. Kingpins now on the right lane. They started the match on the left lane.
Zubinski with the strike.
Now it's hard to spell, but easy to pronounce. John Zerbinski. That kid's got serious game.
And this man is no slouch either, Brian Smith. He may have only one PBA Tour title to his credit, but that title was a major. The 2003 USBC Masters, and Smith had to beat one of the very best to get it, none other than Walter Ray Williams Jr. Smith was back in the Masters final last season, finishing third to Mike Fagan and Chris Barnes.
A little flat 10 on the left lane for Brian.
Nine spare for Smith. That coming after the open frame from Page in the fifth.
Not good.
Jack Jurek now.
Best nickname on tour right here for this guy, the Ripper.
Well, I like Double J too.
Doesn't really have the same ring,
I
does
know,
it?
a Ripper is much better. 2 PBA titles, one of which right here at Thunderbowl Lanes. Jurek, a strike in the second.
Oh.
That is trouble here in the seventh.
And this is exactly what the Dallas Strikers needed to get back in this match. It was an open frame by the Kingpins, and Jack Jurek staring at a 2-8-10 split. Again, remember these teams flip-flop lanes. Very little practice for both teams, and you only get 2 shots at it per game, unless you're the anchor bowler.
No.
Norm Duke, 48-year-old, 2-time world champ, 2-time player of the year, holds a career Grand Slam, a very rare thing indeed. The Strikers looking for guidance from their big man.
Uh-oh. All of a sudden, it's a 19-pin match, Lon. this time or two. A little down and in shot, his hand underneath it, lets the bowling ball do all the work for him.
Oh, look at the air time.
For the love of elevation.
Jones with a 9 spare and ugliness here in the 8th.
Back-to-back players for the Kingpins, getting the ball a little right of target and the ball just hanging down lane. And right now in jeopardy of going back-to-back open frames.
So not only are they having to wait between their frames that they're bowling, but when they come back, they're bowling on a different lane.
Correct. It just makes it that much tougher in this Baker format.
Try to make the best of a bad situation, and he does! TJ comes through.
Oh, no big surprise for a former player of the year. Tommy Jones steps up and makes a great conversion here on the 1-2-4 6-10. That's just perfect.
Strikers now. Amleto Monticelli had a strike in the 3rd on the other side. Just about like that.
Well, no, the first shot was worse. It was runaway Brooklyn, tipped the 5-pin to the right. And this time, Amleto goes flush Brooklyn on the left for a huge double. And if you're sitting on the other side, you don't like to see that. Amleto and his teammates, they love it. Just doesn't get this ball far enough to the right.
Rotation on that ball.
But that's perfect if you like throwing them Brooklyn.
Pete Weber now. Weber with a 9 spare in his 4th. Kingpins trying to hang on to their slim lead, and PDW comes through big time late here.
Well, what's interesting is that Pete didn't like that shot off his hand and thought it was going to go high, and that ball just froze. And I think that's probably why the 2 shots prior to Pete's with Jones and Jurek went light. This is one of the greatest games physically I've ever seen in my entire life. Probably the best game ever. And Weber right now is feeling pretty good about that ball freezing right in front of the headpin.
Now Chugs for the Strikers down by 9. Strike will take the lead for the Strikers, but Machuga cannot do it.
Boy, and that was a huge shot for them because they could have struck out 9th and 10th frame and shut out the Kingpins. They could have shot 224. The best the Kingpins could have shot 223. And right now, it's anybody's ball game heading into the 10th frame as Machuga just drifts high and leaving the 4-pin.
Machuga, who won several doubles and team titles as an amateur, picks up the spare. So in his game, he goes 8 spare, 9 spare. And now the anchorman on the floor.
The heavy hitters are coming up to bat now, and Scott Norton pretty much put an end to this day for the Dallas Strikers.
2010, 2011 PBA Rookie of the Year, Scott Norton. Striking 6. There's the strike.
Yeah, 1 strike and 6 is all he needed. He's got half of it now. 6 shouldn't be a problem.
That is huge, and that's a huge relief to Norton now with that smile on his face for that strong left-hander. Has a law practice in Southern California, and a pro bowler coming off his 2nd title at the World Series of Bowling in Las Vegas. He needs 6. He got 10. He'll get another shot at it, but that will do it. And the New York City WTT Kingpins will move through.
And no surprise why Scott is bowling in the anchor position.
Up next on the stepladder, the hometown team, Jerome Bettis' Motown Muscle. Can they knock down the Kingpins? Find out as the PBA League continues. The PBA League Carmen Salvino Classic is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Hammer Bowling, nothing hits like a hammer. Ebonite, bowl to win. And by Motive Bowling, high performance equipment with a fresh perspective. Get motivated. Welcome back to historic Thunderbowl lanes in Allen Park, Michigan, just outside Detroit. Lon McCarron and Randy Peterson. First match of the PBA League is in the books. Let's update the stepladder now. The Dallas Strikers earn their spot in the clash. Go down 223-191 to the New York City WTT Kingpins. So the Kingpins now in match number 2. They'll lead us off once again, John Zerbinski from the Kingpins. And their lineup does stay the same. Why not?
I think this is a big advantage for this team. After winning that first match, they stay on the lanes. They've got a better idea of what the two lanes are doing in terms of reaction.
Zerbinski with the lead-off strike for the Kingpins once again, just as he did in the first match. He did go strike, strike.
I'm sorry, Lon. Maybe we should go out and get some coffee for John to go with that sweet roll.
All right, Motown Muscle on the approach. Let's take a look at their lineup. Ronnie Russell will lead them off, followed by Jesse Buss, Tom Smallwood, Mike Scroggins, and Mike Fagan.
Country boy, Ronnie Russell.
Ronnie Russell from Marion, Indiana, 33 years old, still looking for his first PBA title. He thinks that Mark Wahlberg should play him in the movie of his life. High thoughts of himself indeed. And big 4 here. Not a good start for the Muscle.
He knew this as soon as he left his hand, that it was left of target and it was going to go high. And, you know, he's trying to shout words of encouragement as it goes down the lane. Problem is the bowling ball doesn't have ears.
Open frame to open things for the Motown Muscle. And so he's got teammates trying to pick him up. Thunderbowl lane's a special place for Jack Jurek. He squared off with the Motown Muscle's Mike Fagan for a title here a few years back. Their final match actually went to a roll-off. On his first ball, Jurek struck and applied the pressure. And it was too much for Fagan, who flagged the head pin, handing Jurek only the second title of his career and his first in more than 14 years, a PBA record.
Oh,
7 pin.
Really? Great shot, not a very good result, especially when your opposing team has opened in the first and you can double up early on them. Jack throws a great shot only to leave a stone 7.
Oh, whoa. No foul, no foul as long as he hangs onto that ball.
That's why I didn't want to have this ball.
Boy, that reminds me of last season's Josh Blanchard mishap.
Now the difference between this shot and Josh Blanchard is Jack stays on his feet. Remember when Josh Blanchard went down?
That hurt.
And it was awful because he had a mic pack in his back pocket. He hit the ground hard.
No.
But Jack, being the cagey 49-year-old veteran, he stays upright.
Always a smile on his face. Steve Nagy, PBA Sportsmanship Award winner 2 times. All right, that one released. Is it trouble? Yeah, it is trouble.
Well, he had to take his spare ball and put it away. He couldn't clear the thumb on a spare ball. Had to try to take his strike ball and throw it straight at the 7 pin.
You see Kelly Kulik also on that bench as a supplemental player. She and Brad Angelo actually were the first trade ever associated with the PBA League, traded from the Motown Muscle. And again, Kulik will play only if one of her teammates gets injured. Jesse Buss now leaves a big split.
Well, Russell goes through the face, their first shot for Motown, and goes through the nose, leaving the big 4. Now Jesse Buss goes through the nose, leaving the 6, 7, 10. Not a very good start. Remember, this whole team predicated on success in this building, and early on not looking real good.
And who owns this team? Jerome the Bus Bettis. So 8 for Muscle there. DJ Archer, the muscle alternate, because Brad Angel actually hurt himself. And we'll be seeing him in our title match later, the Carmen Salvino Classic Individual title. We'll meet Andres Gomez. Great logos for all of the teams. Tommy Jones gets things back on the right track with the strike in the third. And now the hometown hero, Tom Smallwood, the former unemployed auto worker who knows this house better than anyone, a fact not lost on Mike Fagan during the draft.
Tom Smallwood, has just proved himself time and time again at Thunderbowl lanes. Tom is a specialist, and in that environment, that building, he has something that other guys don't. And, if I didn't pick him, he was going next. So, everybody knows it. And, I'm feeling lucky to have him on my squad.
And he comes through with a strike. Little local knowledge, maybe.
Well, I think just a little local mojo. And boy, Motown Muscle hasn't sniffed the right side of the head pin yet.
Smallwood finished third in the 2009 PBA Tour Trials here at Thunderbowl, which allowed him to bowl on the tour and leave his life on the assembly line behind. Now Pete Weber, franchise player for this team, went spare strike in their match against Dallas. Big ball for PDW. He likes it. Gets his team fired up.
Boy, if Jack Jarrett carries the stone 7 in the second frame, this is a rout early on through 4 frames. Instead, it's still a really good match. But, I keep looking at the bench over there, and I keep seeing Kelly Kulik sitting at the end. I'm not so sure she shouldn't be a starter on some team.
There is Kulik, supplemental player for Billie Jean King's KingPins. Now looking at Mike Scroggins from the Motown Muscle, trying to get back in this match, down 22. Big ball from Scroggins. That's a double for his team. Now the anchorman for the Kingpins, Scott Norton, who went strike out in their first match. Looking so confident, smooth left-hander with that delivery, doesn't get the kick.
He may not have got the kick, but he got a nice break and not leaving the big 4. He chips out a split, only leaving the 10-pin. Just a little Tug McGraw here on this shot, goes through the face, and you can see that the 6-7 falls late, just leaving the 10-pin. Let's see if Scott Norton can clear his spare ball.
After a string of strikes, sometimes the player can suffer a mental letdown once that strike train is gone. And Norton manages to clean up here.
Hey, interesting side note here. Now, Mike Fagan probably helped set up his lineup, and he chose to bowl anchor. And when I spoke to the teams last night, trying to pick their brain as to how they come up with their lineup, I said, Mike, how are you going to set the lineup? And he goes, whoever strikes the most bowls the anchor position. I'm like, oh, that's a good strategy.
There you go.
Right now, he can cut the deficit to 1 with a strike here.
Fagan brings the strike just when his team needed it. And we have a match halfway through between the Kingpins and Muscle. Well, the Muscle with an open frame in the first, but their team has roared back. They're down now by just 1. Anchor Mike Fagan coming through big time. Welcome back to Thunderbowl lanes. Lon McCarron and Randy Peterson. Good match here. Match number 2 between the New York City WTT Kingpins and the Motown Muscle. Kingpins up by 1 halfway through. Teams switch lanes now. Here's John Zerbinski, the leadoff man for the Kingpins, on the right lane. He has struck every time up. 2 in the first match, 1 here to open it up. 10-10.
Well, he's thrown some great shots throughout the first couple of matches in this team competition. John Zerbinski not missing the pocket, and that's kind of what you're looking for in a leadoff bowler in a Baker-style format. You want somebody that can kind of get you off to a quick start and get your team pumped up. John's done a nice job of that.
And that will bring the Motown Muscle back up to the line. The Muscle owned by retired NFL Pro Bowl running back Jerome Bettis, a native of Detroit. The Bus with a 13-year NFL career, 6-time Pro Bowl selection. And of course, he has a Super Bowl ring with the Steelers, ranked 6th all-time in NFL rushing yards. Ronnie Russell with an open frame. Doesn't like this one either. Is he going to get it? Can he get it? Oh!
Boy, he was awfully close to the foul line. Remember, the teams flip-flop after 5 frames, meaning they switch lanes, but watch how close he gets to the foul line here.
A little hop, but no foul. So Russell able to save himself from that foul. Now trying to clean up the spare here in the 6th. And he does indeed, and we still have a tight match here. 1 pin separating these 2 PBA League teams, as that brings Jack Jurek to the line.
And again, for me, the tough aspect of Baker-style format is the time in between shots, and I think even more so for older players, and not picking on anyone like Jack Jurek, but at 49 years of age, it's a little bit different than when you're, say, 35 or 25.
Jurek couldn't release the ball last time he came to the approach. Ow! This just in.
Well, let me just say one for the good guys, because Jack Jurek is truly one of the good guys. He suffered that spare attempt in the 2nd frame where his spare ball never cleared his thumb, and comes back here in the 7th with a nice break on a rolled trip 4-pin.
And that's when it's great to have teammates. When you get an audience for a break like that, you love to share it. All right, and now I think they only drafted him. He's a great bowler. The only way they drafted him, though, they had to have a Bus on Jerome Bettis' team, the Bus.
Well, yeah, I like that connection, but Jesse Buss can bowl. I mean, this
no
kid's
doubt.
got a lot of power, and he can throw it.
All right, head to PBA.com to find out how you can join the growing number of fans following the PBA on Twitter. Get tweets featuring PBA Tour news and tournament updates, and find information about linking to the Twitter accounts of your favorite PBA star. Simply click the Twitter link on the PBA.com homepage to get started. Bus. Open spare, and he gets it. But Jurek struck for the Kingpins. So the Kingpins up by 2 now. That brings Tommy Jones to the line for New York City WTT Kingpins. He won his 14th title a short while ago in Japan, the International Bowling Championships. Big ball from TJ, just as he did in the 3rd.
Well, Tommy Jones has always been one of my favorites out here, and he went through a couple of years of battling through some injuries. It's nice to see him healthy again and bowling well. Former Player of the Year, Rookie of the Year. Tommy Jones, just one of the best players out here.
We mentioned Tom Smallwood in the last segment. His career about as storybook as it gets. Comes off the Ford assembly line, tries his luck on tour, and in just a few months turns around and wins a major, the PBA World Championship. Unbelievable. And he gets the kick back at you, Kingpins.
What in the world is going on? This Tom Smallwood guy's brought some magic with him. He's throwing pins everywhere. I think that's the fastest trip 9 I've ever seen.
It was in a hurry.
Almost looked like a messenger coming across to take the 10 out.
So with that strike, the Muscle remain within 12. Franchise player Pete Weber struck in the 4th. His team in the lead. They won the first match against the Dallas Strikers. Oh, Pete will take that.
Nice. You know, with those glasses on, instead of PDW for a nickname, they should nickname him the Terminator because he just seems to take guys out.
That looks like a pretty good scene you shot today, doesn't it, Carmen?
You can see he's trying to go a little bit straighter on that lane because, remember, we saw a couple of shots from Motown go light. And of course, Weber has to give him the business after tripping that 6-pin out for a Brooklyn.
Pete says, I love team bowling.
He's probably the only guy that could get away with doing that.
Scroggins now strike in his 4th frame. Boy, they needed that one.
Like, again, a little bit of an approach issue, which is a little hard to understand. These players are actually having problems with these approaches. They're wood approaches in synthetic lanes. You would think that the footing would be okay.
Scroggins with the spare in the 9th, but they needed to strike. Down by 22. And there you see, they need a mark to shut down the Muscle, and Scott Norton is just the man to do it for the Kingpins. His teammates looking on, and a chance to go up against the Philadelphia Hitmen. And that is gonna do it. Scott Norton is money in the 10th. And the Kingpins will be taking on top-seeded Philadelphia Hitmen with Bill O'Neill, their franchise player. What a performance by Norton so far. Come on back. Welcome back to the Thunderbowl lanes in Allen Park, Michigan, in the PBA League Carmen Salvino Classic, getting set for our title match. But right now, let's go down to JT Action Jackson, who's with the anchor man for the Kingpin, Scott Norton.
Thanks, guys. So, Scott, it's obvious that your team is dominating right now. How do you feel about being the anchor of your team?
It's pretty awesome, but it's really great to just be a member of this team. There's so many great players in this team, and we've all really put in some really good work. And the best thing about our team is that we have some great team cohesion. We work really well together, and hopefully that continues on from here.
So far, so good for the Kingpins. They beat the Strikers 223-191, and then the Muscle 225-192. Now, the number 3 New York City WTT Kingpins taking on the top-seeded Philadelphia Hitmen here. The Hitmen roster leading off with Chris Loschetter, followed by Dick Allen, Mike Devaney, franchise player Bill O'Neill, and Major Mika Koivuniemi.
New York City WTT Kingpins versus the Philadelphia Hitmen. Leading off for the Hitmen, Chris Loschetter.
Loschetter, a second-round draft pick of O'Neill, 14th pick overall from Avon, Ohio. Still seeking his first PBA title. He's had 9 TV finals. Loschetter to set the pace for his team, the Hitmen.
Remember the all-important points, 12 points to the winner, 8 points to the runner-up. Take a look at the point list here.
And remember, the top 4 teams earn a trip to Indianapolis for the Elias Cup, named for Eddie Elias, the founder of the Professional Bowlers Association. Loschetter converts a spare in his first frame.
Leading off for the Kingpins, John Zerbinski.
So here now, John Zerbinski, 2 strike in his opening match, went strike spare in the win against Motown Muscle. Zerbinski has really impressed a lot of people this week at Thunderbowl Lanes. On the right side, a little high. We've seen that big four a few times in this competition, Randy.
Yeah, and the big four has always been on the right lane. We see friction early on that right lane. We've seen some players try to go straight. And this looks like a good shot. It just breaks loose at about 5 or 6 feet before it gets to the head pin. And once again, the big four on the right lane.
So an open frame for Zerbinski and the Kingpins against the top-seeded Philadelphia Hitmen. You don't want to give the Hitmen any room to move away. You see the full bench. Kelly Kulik on the far left is the supplemental player. And here now a look at Dick Allen for the Hitmen. Columbia, South Carolina, 3 PBA titles. That's high as well. O'Neill says he has a lot of confidence in this man. Started bowling at age 6. His stepdad ran a bowling center, so he knows his way around. And there is franchise player Bill O'Neill, who was very high on the team bowling concept. He bowled a lot in college on a lot of teams and Team USA. Opens up in the second.
Come on.
All right, so an open frame for each team, and it's just 2 pins separating them. Jack Jurek here in the second for the WTT Kingpins. 2 open frames so far in the first 2 matches, 1 in each match. It's a good ball from Jurek, who seems to have corrected any mistakes that he brought earlier.
Well, the only mistake was with the spare ball. He probably drilled a brand new spare ball, had some ball dust inside that thumb hole and couldn't clear that thumb. He had to put that ball to rest. But I think it's a big advantage for the Kingpins starting on the right lane. Remember, after 5 frames, our teams are going to flip lanes, and the Kingpins get to finish on the left lane. I think it's the better of the 2 lanes.
Mike Devaney now has a couple of PBA titles, including 1 here at Thunderbowl. He didn't do it like that.
1, 2, 4.
All right.
Well, I watched him bowl a lot at this event, and I thought Mike Devaney was one of the strongest members of their team. This ball just gets away from him, loses it at the bottom, and whiffs the head pin.
Devaney trying to pick up his team. Can he get him? Nice cleanup from Devaney.
Devaney, the second highest average for the Philadelphia Hitmen throughout the Carmen Salvino Classic.
That will bring to the approach Tommy Jones for the Kingpins. A couple of spares in the opening match, and then went strike in the second match against the Muscle.
Pretty formidable lineup here when you talk about the Kingpins. After you get through Jack Jurek, you got TJ, PDW, and Scott Norton, who's been absolutely on fire for his team.
A big rip from TJ. Boy, does he bring it?
Well, he got some help from John Zerbinski's shot when it went high. You see the high backswing there of Tommy Jones, and that arm swing being almost vertical. But look at that great knee bend. That's an athletic move. He's a great athlete, great balance at the foul line, and a great result.
The Hitmen's Bill O'Neill next to bowl. And O'Neill in last week's Chris Paul PBA League All-Stars partnered with Hitmen owner Kevin Hart, who quite frankly stole the show, both for being incredibly funny and for being a really good bowler. The pair made it to the final match, and despite bowling a salty 267, where Hart was perfect with 5 strikes, the Hitmen fell 3 pins short of winning to Chris Barnes and Chris Hardwick of the Silver Lake Adams Splitters. Top performer in qualifiers for his team. There you see why. The real deal coming through. All right, let's get down to J.G. Jackson for a report from the floor before PDW Bowls.
Well, Pete Weber told me that right lane is key because the right lane is fried right now, and they need Scott Norton because his side is not.
Norton, the left-hander, coming from different angle. Weber realizing the trouble everyone's having on this lane. Not for Pete, though.
And, you know, we kind of talked about that at the beginning of this match.
They're not tight enough.
Getting through this right lane, moving over to the left lane where I think there's a much better look, a much more consistent ball reaction. And JT said it, you know, we need to get through this right lane and have Scott Norton set us up and do what he does best, because Scott Norton's ball reaction is much more consistent lane to lane.
Mika Koivu-Niemi now for the Hitmen, 3rd pick overall. We saw him wearing the glasses at the Japan Cup, a victory there, and why not bring him back across the pond here and keep him? And Major Mika gets the strike.
Guy's just plain good. I don't care if he's wearing glasses or not. He can probably do that with his eyes closed.
So Mika Koivu-Niemi picking up his club, the Hitmen, down by 12. Scott Norton, the anchor man for the Kingpins. He has come through when he has been needed. The top qualifier as far as average is concerned for his club. Yeah, a little messy, but Norton will take another strike. So Scott Norton keeps doing what Scott Norton knows how to do here at Thunderbowl. And the Kingpins trying to knock off the top-seeded Philadelphia Hitmen. Come on back.
What's going on? This is Kevin Hart, owner of the Philadelphia Hitmen, a.k.a. the champions, future champions of this PBA Bowl League. Philadelphia Hitmen in your face. Ow! Oh, one.
Oh, great to have Kevin Hart bring his lively style to the PBA, the Philadelphia Hitmen owner, actor, comedian, host of a number of shows on MTV and BET as well. Won a 2012 BET Award for Best Actor. Appeared in a number of movies, including 40-Year-Old Virgin and Soul Plane. MVP of the 2012 NBA All-Star Weekend Celebrity Game, even though he got thrown out of the game in the 4th quarter.
Well, you know, he's a troublemaker.
And that's what his team likes about him. So the clubs have switched lanes. The Hitmen, the top seed, down by 22. Loschetter now for his first ball in the back half of this game on a different lane. He's now on the right side. Spare in his first. Is it going to come back? 10-10.
Boy, they needed it too to cut into that deficit. And a really good shot by Chris Loschetter. Leaves a nasty ring in 10. Great knee bend there, great balance. Chris gets that hand up underneath the bowling ball, and that's a good shot and a bad result.
Loschetter went 9 spare in his first, trying to do the same here in the 6th frame. Keep his Hitmen within reaching distance of the Kingpins, who have been on fire.
Still on Loschetter from the Hitmen. The Kingpins lead by 23, 6th frame.
So now back to John Zerbinski. Zerbinski can really give his Kingpins a boost here, Randy.
And this team has been pretty good on the left lane. And I mean all day long.
Zerbinski from New York, bowled at Wichita State, 19th at the USBC Masters last season. This is, oh no. And there you see why.
Oh, wow. Bad shot, good result, 6-10 only, no split, no problem. Make the spare, maintain a 21-pin lead.
He left the big 4 in the first, but his team picked him up with 4 straight strikes after that. And that's what Pete Weber says a team can do. They wanted a mark from Zerbinski after his open frame, and they got it.
You got me.
There you said, you got me, you got me. You'll pick me up. That's what it's all about. Dick Allen now for Philadelphia. Don't see him a lot on TV, but O'Neal knows that Dick Allen can bowl. And that right side rearing its ugly head, Randy.
And when we did see Richie Allen on TV, he took advantage of his TV time. He's been very good under pressure, and that's why he's won several titles on the tour.
Allen dressed all in white to win his last title, the 2011 PBA Dick Weber playoffs. And who presented the trophy there? None other than Carmen Salvino, the namesake for today's event. Allen trying to clean it up. I'm not sure spares are going to be enough for this team. Jack Jurek now for the Kingpins. Jurek was the first one to pick up John Zerbinski when Zerbinski left the Big Four in their first. Jurek came back with a strike, followed by a strike from Jones, Weber, and Norton. Jurek trying to do it again here. Boy, he got lucky not to leave that split. The 7-pin finally fell.
Well, I'm really surprised at this. I thought they would really take advantage of that open frame and then four-bagger once they switched lanes and went over to the left lane. Both players going high. Both players in John Zerbinski and Jack Jurek leaving the 6-10 in the 6th and 7th frame. The big guns are coming up next.
You know, the Hitmen have an opportunity, but they're going to have to perform. And there you see so far, Kingpins up by 21. Those 4 strikes in a row early on were key for the Kingpins. And now, Mike Devaney. Devaney needs to strike. Missed the head pin.
Well, first shot we saw Mike throw, he lost it off his hand. And this one, he just whiffs the head pin. And it couldn't come at a worse time for the Hitmen. He's the 1-2-10. Now all he's going to do is try to slide the head pin over into the 10 pin.
Open frame for Devaney. That is not a happy bunch, down by 35. Tommy Jones ready to shut the door.
Not a good time to be 35 down and looking at this guy. This guy's a killer. When he gets his opponents down, he takes advantage of it.
But his first ball on the right lane. No problem for TJ.
Shreds the rack. Behind him's Pete Weber and then Scott Norton. Doesn't look good for the Hitmen.
Bill O'Neal now, the franchise player. He's the one who put this team together.
It's a do or die right now. They have to strike out to shoot 199.
He's the one to get them started. The real deal comes through just like the franchise player should.
Let's take a little look at a comparison between two of the greatest players in this game. Tommy Jones here on the left, Pete Weber on the right. And I want you to stop and look at this position right here at the top of the backswing and tell me if that looks familiar. Notice the left arm straight out in front. Makes me want to go practice trying to get my backswing higher.
PDW trying to bring it big for his club, and he does.
All right, boys. Way to go. Way to go. Beautiful. All right.
Game over, my friend.
Yes. And it wasn't Brooklyn either.
When you need a big ball, you want the ball in that man's hands.
Well, Tommy Jones set it up nicely with a great shot ripping the rack in the 8th, and whoever steps up right behind him strikes in the 9th frame. Scott Norton just needs to keep it on the lane.
Mika Koivu-Niemi. What you expect from Mika. So their anchor will get 2 more balls.
2-0.
And then they need a miracle.
That's not going to happen.
I know that, yeah.
We need to wake him up first.
So the top-seeded Philadelphia Hitmen getting their comeuppance. And who better to give you a comeuppance but a New York City team, huh?
I'm sorry, what language is that you're speaking?
Double for Mika so far.
Well, if it was just O'Neal and Mika, this team would be in pretty good shape. 2 costly open frames, one by Dick Allen in the 2nd, and then the big one was the 8th frame by Devaney.
Philadelphia Hitmen certainly have to be disappointed with how they showed here. Mika goes strike 9 for a 198 for the Hitmen. So with Scott Norton only needing 5 in the 10th, here are the updated PBA League standings after 2 rounds. The New York City WTT KingPins take the top spot from the Brooklyn Styles, who moved back to 2nd. Then the Motown Muscle with the LAX and Dallas Strikers tied for 4th. Remember, the top 4 teams after 5 rounds head to Indy in April to compete for the league championship and the Elias Cup. Scott Norton makes it official, and the Kingpins go 3-0 to win round 2 of the PBA League competition here at the Carmen Salvino Classic.
That's mine.
More to come. A PBA single title on the line after the break as DJ Archer takes on defending champion Andres Gomez. Stay with us. During qualifying all week long, bowlers were racking up pin counts for their teams, but also for themselves in pursuit of an individual PBA title. From a field of 135, the top 2 are ready to face off. DJ Archer seeking his first ever PBA title, and in the process, dethrone the defending champion Andres Gomez. This is the Carmen Salvino Classic, and Carmen, a big presence at many of the PBA events throughout the season. 17 times the PBA Tour titleist, PBA Hall of Famer. Talk about credentials, Randy. This is one of the foundation members of the PBA.
Carmen's a charter member. I had the pleasure of being able to win a doubles tournament with Carmen back in the late 80s. And ironically, he won 17 times on this tour and was voted the 17th greatest player in PBA history.
Carmen, one of the original showmen and entertainers. You see him in the background as Andres Gomez, the number 2 seed among these two, will open us on the left lane. Gomez opens up with a strike.
That was a nice start by Andres Gomez, and you know, it's going to be interesting that DJ Archer admitted to being nervous, and you know, he said to us just last night that the key for him was getting comfortable early.
Danny James, DJ Archer, 32 years old from Friendswood, Texas, joined the tour in 2002. No titles in the 10 years since, a stat he would love to change today. And he matches Gomez with a strike on the right side.
And DJ was the tournament leader, so he gets choice of starting lane. He decided to have Andres Gomez finish on the right lane, and the right lane has been giving all of our players today trouble. Pretty good strategy for DJ Archer, if you ask me, and a really nice shot to start this match.
He was first after 8 games of qualifying. He was first after match play. He is the top seed. But he does open up with a double.
What a great start for DJ, and take a look at his style. This guy's got a very short, low backswing, and then he gets to the top and then cups that wrist and rolls that hand underneath it. DJ's got a lot of power, very strong man.
Of course, the same pattern that they qualified on, but this a different set of lanes. How much does that change things, Randy?
Different approaches. You have wood approaches here, synthetics up top, and a completely different synthetic surface, Lon. I think this synthetic surface has got a little bit more friction to it than it does upstairs.
So Gomez with the double, and as we've said, Andres Gomez, the defending champion here at the Carmen Salvino Classic. His lone title win on the PBA Tour came when he defeated Wes Malott 246-207. He also has a second place finish in the 2011 Pepsi Viper Championship and a fourth place finish in the 2011 PBA Tournament of Champions. One of 16 international entrants in the field of 135. Took an average of 228 into match play. He was 8th after qualifying. Gomez in his third. 3 in a row for Gomez to open up.
And that crafty Colombian's making it pretty tough for DJ Archer to breathe right out of the gate. Just pedal to the metal, starting out with 3 in a row, and just a wonderful shot by Andres Gomez.
So Gomez takes his seat, and now Archer looking for his first ever PBA title. Quite a fun guy to talk to. Brings a great attitude to the lanes every day. About $210,000 in total earnings as a pro bowler. Is this 10-pin going to stay? Yeah.
Well, DJ Archer's just a great guy. I've known him for a long time, and if he were to happen to go on and win today, he would knock Doug Kent out of the Tournament of Champions. That field has been reduced, and Doug Kent currently on the bubble, so the newest winner out here on tour will take his spot at that prestigious event.
Of course, Doug Kent just named to the PBA Hall of Fame recently. Archer with the spare. So he is the first to blink here in the third.
Dadgummit.
Well, it was a really good shot that he made on that right lane, and a little unlucky, but what's going to be interesting now is, because he is behind for the first time in this match, how does he rebound from making a great shot and then having a mental letdown because the results weren't what he was expecting.
There's a look at DJ's arsenal using the Victory Road Solid, the stronger of the two balls he brought to the lanes today. That is a bad break for Archer, but the good news is he's one of the best at converting splits, but this is a tough one.
That's bad.
Well, this is a bad shot. I wouldn't call it a bad break, Lon. This is just a bad shot. It looked like he grabbed it at the bottom. The ball never pushed far enough to the right, and it goes right through the nose.
So Archer now with a big task in front of him. He converts about 20% of his splits, one of the best around. And he was trying to convert right there, ends up with a 7 count. There's Tom Strobel, the proprietor of Thunderbowl Lanes. Michigan bowlers have always embraced the game quite enthusiastically. That is evident in the turnout all week long here at Thunderbowl, and they love this sport and they show it. And so thanks to Tom and his staff for all of they've done to make us feel welcome here. Gomez with the front 4.
And Gomez using 2 different bowling balls to get it done, and that doesn't surprise me because we've seen the early friction on the right lane, left lane playing a little bit cleaner through the front, and Andres has adjusted his equipment to the different reactions perfectly thus far.
Andres using the high road on the left lane and Shooting Star on the right. Gomez is perfect so far. And there you see the family, Jairo, his brother, Paulo, his sister, and Mirle Parra, his girlfriend, enjoying the action, and they all have come to watch a little history, and Gomez may provide it. There you go, Archer. Hopefully we'll have that ease his nerves just a bit.
Well, I'll tell you what eased his nerves is when he opened in the 4th frame, and then Andres Gomez threw a 5-bagger. That'll ease your nerves because you get so far behind, you're like, okay, well, and you start to get in that little relaxed state. And that's probably the best thing that could happen for DJ. He has to start stringing strikes, and he'll have to string a bunch of them as he makes a ball change here on the left lane.
Archer changing to the other weaker ball in his arsenal, the Berserk. On the left lane. Shaking his head, downtrodden, DJ Archer, the top seed.
You know, it's one of the toughest things in sports is when you only have one shot at it. These players have one game. One game. It's not like there's a 5 or 6 game qualifier or 8 game qualifier where if you have one bad game or a couple of bad shots, you can make the adjustments and then make it up. It's almost like gymnastics where you get one shot at it. And that's what DJ Archer is going through right now.
Gomez with the spare, but deep down, I think he's got a feeling that it's not enough. Gomez now trying to stay perfect. He's got the front 5 in the books. Prior to coming to the PBA, Gomez with a strong international career, winning in Bahrain, Mexico, South America, won a bronze medal in the 03 Pan Am Games. And he does remain perfect. 6 in a row for Gomez.
And I mean, this is just 10 in the pit. Andres Gomez just taking it to DJ Archer. He got the big opening in the 4th frame, and he hasn't taken his foot off the gas pedal since that frame.
The win in this event last season was his only win of that season. He beat Wes Malott, 246-207. Now that one did not have strike written on it from the get-go.
Yeah, but 9 spare is okay, especially when your opponent can only shoot 232 and you're in the 240s already.
Gomez after the front 6 with the 9 spare in the 7th. Of course, the fans here love to see 300 games, but they're not going to get it in this title match.
You love to see 300 games too. Well, wait a minute. Have you seen one yet?
I have not.
We got to break you in.
Not live. I wish I'd been watching you a couple of weeks ago throw that 300.
Yeah, I did that at the Tony Reyes benefit in San Jose, man. That was a lot of fun. It was almost like Tony had his hands on me because the first ball I threw in the 10th frame went right through the nose, and I still struck.
Archer trying to make it respectable, gets the strike.
Well, and right now he wants to do what we've seen so many times before, and that's apply a little bit of pressure on Andres Gomez with 3 frames to go. I mean, anything can happen, obviously, but I mean, it's a almost insurmountable lead for Andres Gomez, and 57 pins in 3 frames, it's a tall order. However, DJ needs to get up and keep striking, and you never know. He's going to go to another bowling ball on this left lane. Remember, he chose to finish on this left lane.
Gomez feeling very relaxed as he watches Archer come up with a strike on that left side. Left lane is one, as you said, he chose to end on.
Yeah, that's the lane that he threw the big split on as well, but Andres Gomez is kind of in cruise control mode, and he knows that all he has to do is stay clean, meaning any marks, 8th, 9th, and 10th frame, he can't lose.
I think this is a key frame for him, Randy, because he did start with the front 6, and you've got that mojo going. You've got that focus of perfect game going, and then once you get a little bump in the road, you know, it does test you mentally, and we'll see if Gomez is up to the task. He's up to the task.
Hey, Lon, we don't pay you to be the analyst on this show. That's my job. But good call. I like the music.
Back at it.
I like the music, too. I like his strike music.
Look who's here. Terrell Owens sticking around, the team owner of the Dallas Strikers. Coming up next week, more team bowling. It's round 3 of the PBA League competition as part of the Mark Roth Classic, a clash. 3 team matches and a singles title matchup between Scott Norton, whom you saw in action today, and 2-time PBA titleist Michael Haugen Jr. The PBA League Mark Roth Classic next Sunday at 3 Eastern here on ESPN. Gomez trying to double up. Can he get it? Yeah, it's Gomez's day.
Yeah, good call there. I mean, yeah, forget about it. You never see a messenger. That was a weak 10. Something hits this pin and rolls across and takes the 10 out. Take a look.
Feeling bad, feeling good.
It was actually the head pin that came across and took the 10 out. This game is done.
Andres Gomez appears to have this one in hand and walk away with the Carmen Salvino title once again. DJ Archer with a strike of his own, and every ball he throws from now on is going to help him forward in his career. He has to get more comfortable under the lights in this atmosphere to be successful on tour.
And you know, DJ's got a great head on his shoulders. He's got a great game, and he knows what it takes to get it done out here. He needs more experience, and he needs more TV experience. But we're looking at one shot in the 4th frame that potentially could have been the difference. If he strikes in the 4th instead of opening, he's in the 250s. Now, with that being said, Andres Gomez can strike out for 279, and that's kind of hard to beat no matter who you are.
Gomez waiting for his turn, seeing what Archer is going to bring to the table. Got to hurry.
Dang it.
Well, that was pretty much it. That sealed the deal for DJ, and you'll have to chalk this up to experience and regroup. And
Archer came in as the top seed. Gomez knocked him off that pedestal. And once again, it will be Andres Gomez taking home the Carmen Salvino Classic Trophy. We have a back-to-back winner on the PBA Tour once again from Colombia, now living in Weston, Florida. Andres Gomez, our defending champ, is our champ once again. The PBA League Carmen Salvino Classic is brought to you by Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance. Deviate. We are Deviate. Tonight, we bowl. Brunswick. Find your next ball at bowlwithbrunswick.com. And by Jack Link's Beef Jerky, feed your wild side.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Andres Gomez collecting his 2nd straight Carmen Salvino Classic Trophy. He did it last year. He did it this year with a 246-197 win over DJ Archer.
He's great.
Great Carmen Salvino out there. Carmen trying to win another PBA trophy. All right, time for the Geico Championship recap. Randy.
Well, Lon, it was all about Andres Gomez getting off to a quick start and then just throwing strike after strike. He started with the front 6, and then when this match was ever in doubt, he rolls the 10, and that was all she wrote. Andres Gomez successfully defends his title.
Next Sunday at 3 Eastern, more team bowling action on the PBA League Mark Roth Classic We'll have a clash, 3-team matches, and a singles title on the line between Scott Norton and Michael Haugen Jr. It was a full plate of bowling action today from Allen Park, Michigan. From the clash to exciting league action, culminating in a back-to-back PBA titleist. Congratulations to Andres Gomez and to the team champs, the New York City WTT Kingpins. For JT Action Jackson and Randy Peterson, I'm Lon McCarron. We'll see you next week. More action coming your way on the winter swing from Thunderbowl lanes on the PBA Tour.
This is so cool. This is what it's all about.